before he had went and been the head coach for Cleveland. But he went back. They didn't like that. They didn't like the comments that he made. Obviously, Baker Mayfield had some things that he had to say. And David Njoku was just saying, look, uh, uh, it is what it is, but we didn't like what he was saying. Here's what I'm going to say at this point. There's a new season that's about to start. Last thing you really need to be talking about is a 1-32, 1 and whatever, 2 and whatever Hugh Jackson was. A horrible win-loss record. Let's just say that. That's the last thing you need to be worried about at this point. That is over and said and done with. He's wherever he is, you're exactly where you are because you got more problems. And this is not just at David Njoku. This is just the Cleveland Browns. This is now you have arrived. They haven't earned it. Don't get me wrong. They just arrived on paper. But the media, because of that paper, they're going to give you the time of day now. So you have arrived to where you have to avoid any distractions that has nothing to do with this season. That has nothing to do with winning games. That has nothing to do with getting better. Because the expectations have been put on this team. They already have the Cleveland Browns winning the division. They already have the Cleveland Browns definitely higher than what they were with their Super Bowl odds. And then you add a guy like Odell Beckham to this team where people are going to be paying attention to see if Odell have any moments like he had with the Giants. There is too much going on at this point for the Browns to really be concerned with a guy that had a horrible win-loss record. And if he's blaming other people for him getting fired, that's just ridiculous. We all know that. So we don't even need to get into that. But the Cleveland Browns right now, you're finding out what it is to be relevant. Because people now are asking, that's how you know if you're relevant or not. Because people are asking you about old stuff. Don't even go into it. None of it. I'm talking about none of the Browns. None of them. And exactly, when they say Hugh Jackson, you say, who? And they be like, Hugh. Who? Hugh. No. I'm not saying Hugh. I'm saying who? I don't even know who you're talking about. All I know is who we got right now. Don't even talk about that guy. Don't talk about anything about last year. Anything before that. Because it's not worth talking about. You're on everybody's map. You're definitely going to be on everybody's schedule when you come to town because everybody done already started crowning you. That's what you need to worry about. Don't need to worry about Hugh Jackson at all. Don't take any of that bait. None of that bait. Okay? I said it like I'm talking to him right now, like he's right in front of me. But we're going to stay in football. And I told you, fantasy football is right around the corner. And here at the Wait a Minute Show, we'd like to give you fantasy football advice, suggestions, or just little tidbits, if you will, to help you in your upcoming fantasy football leagues that you will be joining into. And before you ask, I know, Jelani, do you have a spot for me in your fantasy football league? Well, unfortunately, at this point, we are at capacity. But if there is an available spot that do come up, you can hit me up on the Wait a Minute Show at gmail.com. Leave me a line. I'll keep you, in the order that I receive. And I'll keep a list. So if something does pop off and I can get you in there, I'll get you in there, But you're going to lose if you come to my league. That's all I'm saying. You're going to lose and you're going to lose bad. But I digress. So we're talking about fantasy football here, and today's topic, this morning, this afternoon, this evening, I'm going to say it all because you're going to be listening to this at some point on the playback, is we're talking running backs. Running backs, running backs, running backs. And now we're talking about running backs to focus on after the first round, second round, and those first and second tier running backs. This is where you can win your fantasy championship because everyone knows the Ezekiel Elliott's, the Saquon Barkleys, and all that stuff, the Le'Veon Bells, all those guys, we know they're going to get drafted because everybody's trying to get it. But how do you win a championship? You have to fill out the rest of your roster with quality guys that can take on a responsibility or that can get hot or situation change. And that you can plug in case one of your major guys get injured. And let's just hope they don't have a down year or anything like that. So I got 3 running backs for you, to check out. And we're going to go, new guy, somewhat new guy, and not a new guy. So the first one that is up is going to be Chicago Bears running back David Montgomery. He got drafted this year, so he is a rookie going into the situation. Now, remember, the Chicago Bears, and here's why I'm saying that you want to keep an eye on David Montgomery for the Chicago Bears, because of the situation. You got to look at, everything and how all of it plays out, and then you put 2 and 2 together and you say, I smell something, and that's what we smell here on David Montgomery, and that is, you got to look at the current running back situation. They had Jordan Howard. They traded Jordan Howard away to Philadelphia. Then that tells you we're looking for another running back. Matt Nagy, obviously he was the former offensive coordinator at Kansas City. We saw what he did with guys like Kareem Hunt. Remember, Spencer Ware was supposed to be that guy before he got hurt, and then Kareem Hunt stepped in and had 2 really good years. So they are looking for their next Kareem Hunt, because remember, Kareem Hunt didn't go in the first or second round. He went after that. So they're looking at, we can find value later on in the rounds. The other thing about this is that they signed Mike Davis, and they still got Tariq Cohen. Tariq Cohen is going to be an excellent change of pace back, but they want to have a goal line back, and they get a back that can set the tone for this team. And Mike Davis, although he has been serviceable, with teams that he has played for in the past, but Mike Davis has never been the guy. So it's always was going to be they were going to have another running back. And the last thing I'm going to say is why David Montgomery is somebody that you should look at is that the Chicago Bears only had 5 draft picks this year. And their first draft pick was in the 3rd round. And who do you think they drafted with their first draft pick in the 3rd round? That was David Montgomery. So if Mike Davis was the answer to go along with Tariq Cohen, and that was the only thing that they needed, they wouldn't have drafted someone with their first pick in the NFL draft this year. The other thing is they moved up 10 spots to draft David Montgomery. So keep an eye out on him. I look at him as more of, it's going to start out slow. He's going to probably be the new Jordan Howard. Mike Davis will start. Mike Davis will get the, bulk of the carries probably because he's still a rookie. You got to worry about him in pass protection because they are not trying to get Mr. Trubisky hurt at all. So they're going to go with the veteran. But as the year goes on, I'm telling you, David Montgomery is going to get better and better and better. And I'm going to say by week 8, David Montgomery would be starting for the Chicago Bears. So remember that name. The other name to remember, I told you, not such a new guy, but, he will be used newly. Let's just say that. And that will be running back Aaron Jones for the Green Bay Packers. And I don't need to go into a big, long, drawn-out explanation on this. It is Aaron Jones was balling last year in a limited basis. Everybody wanted Mike McCarthy to give him the ball more and more and more. Mike McCarthy was talking about he didn't want to give him too much of a load, and it seems like Mike McCarthy was the only person that didn't want, and Aaron Jones is going to get his chance. And I think Aaron Rodgers believes in Aaron Jones, so that's always good. Jamal Williams, he did nothing to take that position from Aaron Jones. And there's not anyone else that's going to be able to rival Aaron Jones. He will be a guy. He's not going to be a number one, but he probably would be borderline 2 or 3. So you want to look at Aaron Jones for the Green Bay Packers. He catches out of the backfield. He can run between the tackles, and he will play in goal line situations. So, and it will be another wrinkle for the Green Bay Packers instead of Aaron Rodgers just having to throw for touchdowns the entire time. I'm pretty sure he would like to hand the ball off in goal line situations to get his back into the end zone. So Aaron Jones is someone that you want to look at. And number 3, last but not least, I told you this is not a new guy. This is not a fairly new guy. This is an established guy, but in a new position that I think he will thrive in. So we talked earlier about Lamar Jackson throwing the ball, and I said he's going to throw the ball more. But the Baltimore Ravens are not crazy. They know that their bread is buttered with the run game, and Lamar will be part of that. But who also will be a part of that, and I feel that would be a big factor for them, is one Mark Ingram. Now, I'm going to go to a little side for a second. I am a little biased because Mark Ingram is from my hometown, but that's about all I'm going to do because I don't want to seem like I'm totally being homerish because there is some reasoning behind why Mark Ingram is somebody you should have on your radar for fantasy football. I just said it. The Baltimore Ravens are a running team. They will throw more because Lamar has had in the whole offseason, but their bread is buttered with the run game. Yes, I know Gus Edwards is there. Yes, I know Kenneth Dixon is there. Yes, I know, somebody else is there. But this is going to work out because Mark Ingram, unlike in New Orleans, there is not an Alvin Kamara, unless you want to count Lamar Jackson, but there is not an Alvin Kamara in this running back field with Mark Ingram. So Mark Ingram is going to get a big, heavy dose of running the football. In a conference as well, or a division, I should say, against the Bengals, against the Steelers, against the Browns. Both 2 of these teams have pretty decent defenses, and the way you want to slow down the defense and you want to tire out the defense with the run game. And that's what Baltimore is going to try and do. Run, pass, pass, run, pass, run, pass, run, some type of to that effect. But Mark Ingram is definitely someone you want to look at to have on your fantasy football league team. So I'm going to give you a recap real quick. David Montgomery from the Chicago Bears, rookie. Aaron Jones, not a rookie, but still young for the Green Bay Packers. And Mark Ingram for the Baltimore Ravens, a vet from my home city of Flint, Michigan. These are 3 guys that you want to look at for your fantasy football team. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We talked about fantasy football. We'll talk about fantasy football more as we get closer and closer to the season starting. And I'll give you some more little tidbits on players that you should be looking at. But let's see. I tell you what. Let's take another break. And then we're going to come back. And I want to inform you about some basketball news and a possible max contract being offered to a player that will be criticized till the cows come home. What am I talking about? I'll tell you that and more after we get back. It is the Wait a Minute Show, which man Jelani JB Bodie will be back after these words.
We don't take orders from super fools. We give them.
X gon' give it to you.
Any and all resistance will crumble. Nonsense. There's never been a threat
Squad
couldn't handle. It is the purpose of the
Squad
to align our infamous forces against the powers of good and defeat them, leaving us, the rulers of the world.
We all hate when we have unexpected car problems. Well, I'm here to tell you about a viable solution. Bay 11 Auto and my man Melvin. You have emission problems? Brakes need changing? Transmission slipping? Is your car just driving sluggish? No problem is too big. I live on the other side of town and I drive over an hour to a guy that I trust.